anyways,
So you
back
just
on
told
the
us some
technology.
big stuff. You off the show. You just told us some highlights of the last, I don't know, 39 weeks or so since you've been on. A pretty significant raise. A lot more clients. Tell us those numbers again, and just maybe the old escalator pitch of. So I'm gonna change that, Tim. I'm gonna make it the escalator pitch, or the stairway pitch, something like that. Not the elevator pitch. Let's make it more fun.
Before Scott gets going with that, I mean, that's part of the whole thing. Scott being a returning guest, having him back a second time. I mean, this is a great platform. So the first episode was to introduce the founders. We had Scott on, talked about the business. For those that are hearing Scott for the first time, we'll talk about what Magazine Jukebox does. But then as a second appearance, it's a great way to show the progress, further tell the story about what's happening with the business. And, so it's a great tool for you to show people your progress.
Yeah. So it was funny. I was like looking back and I was saying, okay, where were we at, 39 weeks ago? I didn't actually count the weeks, but I just kind of look at the time frame. And it's crazy. Like we were still in concept thought. We were still building out the platform. We were still, not sure where capital was going to come from, full capital. And since then, we have not only created our product, and our tech company that we are partners with, and this is called Simple Thread. They're out of Richmond, Virginia. Totally incredible people. Justin Etheridge is one of the partners there. Shout out to them. But they created our platform. It's working. It's live. We actually went live January 3rd, because 1st and the 2nd was a holiday. And so we went live January 3rd. And then from January, we have already landed ourselves in over 130 locations, paying customers. And we're actually excited. We're working now with Baptist Health of South Florida, which includes the Miami Cancer Institute. Super thrilled to have them as part of our platform. This is one of the creations that they've made that they're going to be putting up all throughout their entire facility. And this is like, there's so many things that you learn when you're starting up a company, things that you don't think of or that you don't know. So like one of them was that is that this isn't just for waiting rooms. Like when you're thinking of the doctor's office and you're thinking of, you go and you sit down and you wait. The problem is, like, there's multiple waiting components now in a doctor's office. Sometimes they send you even out back to your car, although I think that's going to finally end, and we're going to see that coming to an end.
Google's forcing all of their employees to go back to the office in the next month.
Yep, I believe it. Yep. And so what's crazy is, like, okay, so you go in there, you give them your name, you check in, and then you wait, right? And then they call your name. And when they call your name, you go back to a doctor's or the patient room and you wait again. So with the outmoded physical magazines in these places, the problem is that you can only have so many magazines in a waiting room, and good luck trying to find one that's up to date. Good luck. Like we were talking off screen about, how nasty they are sometimes, like when people pick them up and where were they, where were their hands, what kind of cold they have. COVID's around, it's going to stay around. Flu is around, it's going to stay around. There's a lot of other things that people can contract through germs. So what society learned as a whole is like, hey, look, anywhere we can remove touch points, let's do it. Let's remove touch points. And so we kind of, we really just kind of fit right into that plan of, hey, removing touch points, making things more clean, everything's up to date. It also eliminates theft, believe it or not. You know how many people have hijacked a physical magazine because they wanted to finish reading an article?
Yeah, well, they're $19 a pop now, so of course.
Well, yeah, that too. And so we, and what's interesting is, like, you held up a physical magazine, Zach, and we like to share all the time that we don't believe physical magazines should go away. We want to be really clear on that. We actually think that there is a place for physical magazines, just like in my office or just like in at my home. Like, that makes sense. The only people that are going to be touching this thing is either myself or people that we know, family, friends, whatever. But when it comes to a commercial space, we don't believe that physical magazines need to be there anymore. We think that digital magazines are here. Digital is here. Anything that can go digital will go digital. I think I said that in our last show. And I think that having Magazine Jukebox inside waiting spaces, car dealerships, hotels, resorts, casinos. I mean, can you imagine having the QR code next to a slot machine? The casino would love that, right? Because they just want them to park their butts there and play and play and play all day long.
You think?
And a bunch of them have books, have magazines. They're playing on their phone already. Why not give them something to read that's digital? It's a great way to scan. So we're actually in communications with the resort casino out in California now, which is exciting. We're also, and I can't say the name, but I have a meeting in April with one of the largest hair salons in the country. So, and we're talking over 4,500 locations. So we're really excited about that conversation. And
no insider information. Come on, hair cuttery. Let's bring on Magazine Jukebox.
Can't say names. Can't say names. Can't
but hey,
confirm or deny.
Do you think this hair wasn't made at that cuttery? Come on.
But what I am saying is, anybody hears this and you have a connection to any of those type of places, send them our way. We want to talk.
So I went to the. I think I even took a picture and sent this to you. I went to the doctor. I don't know, annual checkup, January maybe, Tim. Mm-hmm. I brought my magazine with me, and I was reading it. I did exactly what you said, Scott. I sat there. Oh, hey, here, give us your insurance card. Blah 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 blah. Sit. 25 minutes. 4 articles. I read real slow. Oh, come back to the room. Do blah blah blah. 15 more minutes. Had I done that with their magazines,
that's a good time. That's pretty good. 15 minutes waiting.
Yeah, well, the time I was there before, I sat there for 3 hours. But you're right.
I believe that.
But you're right. I mean, if it's this thing on your phone, it's a lot more accessible, a lot more options. Likely, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so in the last show, you talked about 2,500 at a certain price. Did you bail on that promo? Are you still doing that? How did that turn out?
Yeah, so we have in any startup, you will pivot and you learn, right?
Yeah.
So I have this saying that I adopted, which is first you learn, then you take the L out of it, and then you earn. So we went through this whole learning phase, and now we're earning. So, but we're still learning too in the process. And what's really neat is that we've learned that a lot of people like a monthly subscription service. So we actually offer $19.99 a month now to commercial, to businesses, proprietors. We also have some options for a 3-year plan that gets it all the way down to $8.33 a month. So it's really almost, pennies. Like, I mean, you think about it, if you have 10 guests a month and you're open 20 days a month, so you have, 200 guests come through, and even if 10% of them used our platform, you take $8.33 divided by 20, and that gives you what you paid to help them have a more enjoyable experience. It's really pennies on the dollar. And so we have pivoted off of that price, and we have made some changes there. But I want to touch back just real quick on the waiting room, and I'm glad you said that. So when you go back and you wait in the patient room, they're able to put these codes up everywhere. It could be in the break room. It could be in the patient room. It could be in at the cafeteria at hospitals. It could also be in bathrooms. Not that I recommend that, but it could be good quality reading in bathrooms. I think we can all agree to that. So it's like they literally get to put it up everywhere instead of getting a stack of 20 magazines that they got to go put out and distribute, right?
And people now take to the bathroom.
Take to the bathroom, right? Or don't wash their hands and come out and use it. But so now all they have to do is the person can scan, and as long as they're within the proximity of that location, then they get to use it. So even if they come in and scan it and go sit in their car while waiting, they can still
I was going to ask you about that. So you just geofence like around a hospital or something like that?
Yeah, so we just changed this up. It's really kind of neat. So at first we were like, each location has its own QR code, especially like each location does have their own QR code, and that makes sense. But for those locations that have like 100 locations or have 5,000 locations, we now give them one code, one primary code. We link all the addresses, and then we use reversed proximity geofencing, meaning that they will scan it, and then what it does once they hit the verify button, it's looking for the closest location, and if you're within a distance of that close location, it'll allow you access.
How long does it keep it on for? Like 90 minutes, 2 hours? Is it
36 hours? 36 hours. So someone gets to go and take it on.
Very interesting.
It is. Yep, absolutely. So we had to protect the brands. The idea is that someone will enjoy the magazine and it may encourage them to want to maybe subscribe, there is a subscribe link button on there that they can subscribe right on our platform. But if they don't subscribe, the other way that magazines and publishers make money is viewership. So now they're going to have raw analytics that they're going to be able to say, you know, hey, Adidas, I want you to advertise in this magazine. By the way, we have this company over here, Magazine Jukebox, that this is on their platform, and it gets us, you know, 20,000 reads or 20,000 views a week, you know, and so we're going to be able to, over the course of 1 year, you're going to get, you know, 1.6 million views, whatever. That's not the correct math, but you get what I'm saying. 1.6 million views. So we're going to sell you that ad space for $350,000. And Adidas is like, here you go. Done.
Does the magazine track the clicks on an advertisement, or do you track the clicks?
So
how does that work?
So we're teamed up with a company called eMagazine. eMagazine actually digitizes the magazines themselves, and we're in partnership with them. And they actually are doing the analytics on their end for how long someone's on the magazine and how long they're reading it, and, you know, potentially, you know, we don't ask for. And this is another thing. This is really important for viewers and guests who are listening to understand this. We are not an app. So someone doesn't scan our code and have to download anything. There's nothing that you have to actually download. So you're not downloading an app, which is asking you for your name, your email, your phone number, and then they're going to track you while you're not using the app. We're not doing that. We are a web-based platform. So when you scan it, you're getting instant access to the magazines. You're going to be able to enjoy and read them. And as long as you don't clear out your web browser, then, I mean, some of you probably need to clear out your web browser, but those who don't need to clear out their web browser, you can leave it on there for 36 hours. And you can, so if you see like a recipe, you want to take it home, great. Just don't clear out the web browser. Open up another web browser, continue searches there, leave that on there, and you can continue to read that magazine. But yeah, it's a simple technology, but we are not an app. We don't ask for personal information. And the way that we were able to do that is because businesses and proprietors are paying for the service to give to their clients. No different than a physical magazine sitting there, except we get way better analytics than them guessing who's reading it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember them saying that a magazine is read 5 times. There's a guy, Veer Magazine. I probably said this last. Jeff Mazie. I think he still does Veer Magazine. He came around and said, "Oh yeah, this magazine is read 5 times," or something like that. And that was somehow they had data points. I think maybe I was thinking about advertising in there at one point, and I was like, okay, like that seems weird. But regardless, at situations like that, that's something that they'd said. When you say 130 locations, you don't have to go super deep into this, but is that 130 single locations, or some of those like ones that are like a hospital that's like 17 branches? How is that kind of broken down, or is it just 130?
It's completely diverse. So there is, we have some that have multiple locations with us.
So is that one to you, or do you count each one?
So each physical location is a unit. So we sell it by the unit.
Cool.
But as far as like we have nail and hair salons, we have cafes, we have car dealerships. There's
congregation.
In fact,
let's get into something deeper. It's irrelevant.
Oh gosh, hold on. I got to say a quick plug.
Ugh.
Casey Auto has brought us on with all their branches here in Hampton Roads, so we're now there, and also we're contracted with Kings Mill Resort, huge resort. Anyways,
well, I was trying to get off of my bad question to get more off of you. Okay, so you said Casey Auto. Okay, so that's great. If Casey would be mad at me for saying this, but as I think of like the big boy in town, is it maybe Priority? Priority has all of these different places. It seems like they have a lot of, maybe there's someone else, maybe it is Casey Audio, whatever it is. When you're in a community and there's a lot of locations and things like that, is it easy to go in there and has it been easy to sell to a Casey? Has it like, did you get pushback from Priority? Have you tried there? You just drive around Military Highway or Virginia Beach Boulevard, or it seems like, what is it, Warwick, or something in Newport News? There's dealerships everywhere, and they're all owned by the same people, right? Like you go, I would think that you get one, you get all of them, but like what kind of pushback are they having in kind of in these situations?
Yeah, so some of the things like where we had to pivot is that we were actually sending out like packets, and we were thinking, hey, we'll create the best packet, and they get and they distribute the packet. But then what we realized is that actually consumers would much rather do their own marketing. They would rather print it out and put their own designs on it. They really, at the end of the day, just want the QR code. So we stopped actually sending out packets, and we started just giving them digital, the QR code, and then we will create, and we send it to them every month, like some ideas. Like if it's February we'll do like a Valentine's Day one that they can go and slide out the one ad and put it back in its place or whatever. So that's up to them. We actually have I think it goes live in like the next day or so. But where someone can actually come to our website and they can click on, some of the marketing material that they would want that's specific to them or potentially specific to what we've created. But so getting these companies on board, it's not hard. Like what's crazy is it's not hard to sell this product once I can get in front of the right person. It's always the gatekeepers, like trying to get to the right person, getting them to hunker down and talk to me. All I need typically is 15 minutes of their time, and I show them a demo, and the thing sells itself. It just makes sense to have it in there. It's clean. It takes up little to no real estate. They can put it throughout the facilities. It costs them no different than whether they have one stand or they have 30 stands up.
Seems way cheaper.
Yeah, minus the paper that they have to print out. But, that's way cheaper than buying a magazine. There used to be services out there that used to bring magazines and drop them off for free at like dentist office because they wanted to do that. Problem with free is that most people, they don't really care that much about free. They discard it. They don't, they have no investment in it. And so what was happening with a lot of these magazines, again, there's no way of telling how many people read it. There's no way that they give true analytics on it. And then the cost of physical print magazines, which I'm really proud of magazine publishers in general, just because you may not know this, but they are required, and they made a decision to make sure that all of their magazines are 92% recycled, which is great. Like they use recycled material to create these magazines and send them out to everybody. Excellent. The problem is magazines in all these places, only 20% of them actually make it to a recycling bin. 80% make it to our landfills. And so for every 100 locations we're in, we actually have calculated that we have removed about 7,500 pounds of waste in our, it feels good. It feels good to do something like that and giving back to the community, doing our part to help make things a little bit better. And again, not trying to take away from physical magazines. You want it to your home, great, but don't take it, it doesn't need to be in a commercial space. So
Yeah.
It's like, do we just lose Zach?
No, he just it's just you and I for a second.
Okay.